And I have the laptop perched on the bouncy chair on the island. How innovative, right? Hey, I'm a big family mom of 11. I'll do whatever works for to get the job done. Sorry, I was a little bit late. I actually am still on with tech support for something related to my website. You're like, come on, answer the question. I got somewhere to be. But I got a quiet little moment while kids are hither and thither doing homeschool, or they're done for the morning, because that's how I like to roll 4 days a week. And we aim to be done by noon. So I have this little quiet spot in the day. Some of the older kids are helping some of the little kids. It's how we make it roll, because I'm at that stage of life. I wasn't always here, but I'm here now. Whether it's a bouncy chair and a laptop or teens helping with the toddlers, let's make it work. Today, I want to talk about scared to tell people that you're pregnant again. In fact, there was a post in my group just about this where big family mom, she's pregnant with baby number 5. I just took the pregnancy test and is so scared to tell people, especially I believe it was her mother-in-law. She posted anonymously, good on her, because she's just like, oh my gosh, like I feel sick with the idea of telling other people I'm pregnant. And here she is in this Christian big family moms group, reaching out for support, for prayer. And I totally get it, because I've been there. I remember being pregnant with number 5 and feeling like this wall of nausea at the idea of telling like close family members. I'm not going to drop names, even though those particular family members aren't even on Facebook, but just, in the interest of discretion. People extremely close to me that were like unavoidably going to kind of have to find out eventually that I was pregnant, that kind of close, not like a cousin or anything, but I mean, close. So yeah, on one hand, super excited that I'm pregnant, kind of that scared, thrilled, exhilarated that I'm pregnant feeling. This was a baby number 5. And yet knowing how people had responded when we hit this invisible kind of glass ceiling, and sort of to push against the socially acceptable boundaries of how many children you're supposed to have in this modern day in the West. And I'm an expected blowback, pushback from my not Christian relatives, which by and large, most of my family, I didn't grow up in a Christian family at all. And there are very few believers in my immediate family. And I expected that there would be blowback from them. I didn't expect it so much in the church. But today, what I want to just talk about is just being scared to tell literally anybody, but especially those close family members, those people who are close to you. You're going to have to see them or interact with them on some level. It's easier said than done to just like cut them out of your life, or never, ever, ever tell them at all, right? And just be like, whatever. I don't need your, your weight of heaviness, as I choose to embrace this child as a blessing and actually rejoice in this very early pregnancy. I mean, we've just taken the pregnancy test, right? I remember that. So I'm going to share some practical tips today of like different options, how I've actually done it in the past. But before I do that, I want to start to talk to the heart issue, because right away, if you're scared to tell anybody that you're pregnant again with like your 4th child, your 5th child, and you're feeling literally sick with the idea of doing an announcement, whether you're going to do it on social media or do it the way you've done in the past, or even just looking for other creative ways of like, how can I tell people without having to deal with the full frontal assault of what they think and say, the look on their face, or anything else that happens after? How can I give myself a buffer between their reaction and my heart and this child growing in my womb? Like, I don't even want to expose them to that, and be in a room with somebody who's being hostile, antagonistic, or just, giving me this like, ew, like, ew, kind of look like as if you just walked in the room smelling of diarrhea and they're like, I can't, you're pregnant? Ugh. Whereas when you announced your first pregnancy or even your second pregnancy, there's joy and laughter. I know for us, I mean, all the bells and whistles, right? Grandmas were happy. Everybody's happy. Let's throw a big party. Let's take pictures, showing the ultrasounds. But baby number 4, things got awkward, like cringe awkward. And I remember that's actually what set me up for how scared I was with announcing baby number 5, because of how people reacted to baby number 4. Because we had little girl, and when she wasn't quite 2 years old, we had twins, and they were like, oh, okay, well, it's twin boys. So, you have your boys and your girl, and that's okay. That's socially acceptable, even in church circles. But when we hit baby number 4, oh my gosh, the twins were 7 months old. And the joyous reaction, the standing ovation, the clapping, the happiness, the hugs, all the nice questions. What do you do? Are you going to find out it's a boy or girl? Like, none of that. Gone, like evaporated. So when baby number 5 came along, yeah, I was scared. So I get that. So here's the first things first. I now am able to look back with a little more perspective because I'm not like this dear woman who posted anonymously in that group, like right in the thick of it and feeling the full assault of like a hurricane of emotions. So I have some perspective that I can share from. One is to recognize that this is a fear of man issue. The Bible talks a lot about fear of man in contrast to the fear of God. And fear of God, not being like my kids are like, what do you mean fear of God? Like, fear of God. And the way I understand it is like a deep, holy, reverent respect, someone that I love and trust and value so much that I have a deep reverence. Like, and we talk about it with the kids, like, if a king, like if the Queen Elizabeth, it's her birthday today, were to, come as a guest in our home, would we be like terrified of her? No, but we'd have a deep respect, even just for the office that she occupies. And of course, for the individual who occupies it herself, or if Prince William and Catherine wanted to come visit me, I'd be like, such a respect for who they are as people. And of course, the office that they hold. So when it comes to the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, a high level of respect. So that fear is grounded in a deep honor, love, and respect. So it's not a scaredy cat shaking in your boots, lightning bolts from the eyes, kind of scared. But a fear of man doesn't feel like that at all. It's when I'm scared to tell people I'm pregnant, like with my fifth, it wasn't because I had such deep and reverent respect for them. It's because I was expecting all kinds of accusation on their face, out of their mouth, right? Their hearts would overflow with words from their mouths that would just be filthy, just feeling like I was just assaulted, verbally with their nausea inducing criticism, intrusive questions, and honestly, even just the people who give you the cold shoulder. And and how that feels as a mom, like that really ignites my protective, motherly, maternal nature to protect my child, even from that kind of spiritual grossness when people are with like their hearts, even cursing the existence of my dear child 6 weeks, 8 weeks in my womb. Or if I wait till past the first trimester, whenever. But this young, innocent, helpless, very, very vulnerable little being who, as far as I see, is a full human being, full soul, full, very young body, but still a full human being. So I want to protect them even more than I want to protect myself from the discomfort, the conflict, the questions, ugh, just the tearing the band-aid off kind of moment. And honestly, even just like dreading it can sometimes be worse than doing it yourself. But just to get into it, what really helped me was before I ever had those conversations with people, I had credible reason. Hi, Malachi. I had credible reason to believe are going to be very unsupportive, antagonistic, spiritually just awful to talk to. But also, they'd have to find it like inevitable people. I needed to raise my shield of faith first and foremost. And just to say, I choose to fear God. I choose to love God instead of fear man. I choose to, hey, buddy, I see you and I find that it's a little distracting. Could you go somewhere else? Thanks. He's such a ham. It's my 9-year-old. Okay, where was I? Like deep moment. And then there's the 9-year-old pantomiming in the background, right? Okay. Raising up your shield of faith, because when it's the fear of man, what are they going to say? And how am I going to feel? I understand that, right? And it gets all your adrenaline going, all of your, God wired reaction to fear, right? Your heart starts going, I feel sick to my stomach. Like my body will literally instantaneously, just like yours, rewire the whole system to go into fight or flight because it senses impending doom and danger. I know that there's going to be like a type of attack emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And so I'm bracing myself for impact. And that can run a real toll on a woman's body, on a woman's mind, on your soul. So recognizing that, I take a couple deep breaths to tell my nervous system to calm down. There is no immediate danger, right? Just you can literally reset your nervous system wired by God with deep breaths, because deep breaths signals to the body the danger has passed, all is well, I'm okay. I find 3 really does it for me. In, and I hold it, and then I let it out. I do 3 big breaths, and I really do feel like, okay, time to put the shield of faith up, like it talks about in Ephesians 6, and the armor of the Lord, and just put that shield up against the fiery flames, the accusations of the enemy that says this child isn't a blessing. How are you going to afford this? You already have too many children. Where are you going to put that child? You're bringing the child into inflation and a recession. All the accusations, whether it comes out of people's mouths or even if it's coming in your own head. Raise up the shield of faith and say, and declare the truth, right? There's the sword of the Lord, which is the truth. Every child is created in the image of God and is therefore by existence a blessing, because God says children are a blessing of the Lord, regardless of your present circumstances, regardless of the economic times we're living in, whether the Israelites were in slavery or captivity, in all circumstances. And I know this is intense because it gets intense. All children are blessing for the Lord. So if that's already in your heart, you're like, yeah, I just don't want to tell people because they don't share that perspective. I get it. So here's what I do. I settle it first with the Lord, rally myself, I share it first and foremost with people who are going to be really genuinely excited and happy and celebrate and rejoice with those who rejoice. And then here's a couple of options. Once you've settled in the Lord, you put your sword in the ground, you're like, this child is a blessing from the Lord. I choose to rejoice, and I will now be wise in how I roll out the news. Here's a couple of options how I did it. So what I did for number 5 is with this particular family member who is super, uber close. Maybe not like intimate relationship, but being discreet. I wrote her a card. Just a quick little card, and it just said, and it gave me the space, right? All I said was just like, hey, just want to let you know, we're expecting baby number 5 in September. We're super happy and just wanted to let you know, please excuse the card. I just wanted to give you and me both some space to process the news, since I know we both feel differently about it. Boom. Like I just called out the elephant. Kiss, hug, Tara. Done. Right? And she ended up calling me later and be like, oh, hey, turns out that she had come to terms with the fact that we were going to be that family, having those kids and driving that van and taking all of those physical, emotional, and financial risks. And she had apparently turned a corner. Well, it hasn't stayed consistent, I'll put it that way. But I was like, oh, okay, well, that was nice to know. So there's certainly no harm done. And in sending a card, right? Or in this, didn't do an email. I put a little, like I said, like a nice card, a nice picture of one of our children on it. And I just tried to put some love in it, but I gave myself that space because like, I don't want to be in the room when that look comes over your face like it did with baby number 4. I'm just not even, I don't have to subject myself to that. Boundaries. Oh my gosh, boundaries are beautiful. Hashtag boundaries are beautiful. So that's what I did with her. I'm not even like on any of those social media sites. I'm pretty much a Facebook girl. But the cool kids hashtag. I got teens. They tell me these things. Next thing is, honestly, you don't have to tell right away at all. You can buy time. However you choose to do it, you can buy time. You don't have to do this right away, right? You can tell people you probably already have. Hey, it's not public, but I just want to share with you our excitement, to be praying for me, because a couple people I have to tell, or I'm going to choose to tell. And, it's awkward. So if you could just pray for me, for wisdom, for grace, as I lift up my shield of faith. Thank you so much, right? And those are the people you really want having your back. So you don't have to tell right away. When you tell, you could do the card like I did. Some people have had their kids tell. I've done that as well. I have like mixed feelings about that. I almost feel like I'm like recruiting a child soldier. I know, not strictly speaking, but I'll send one of our super high energy, enthusiastic kids to go and tell that relative, because again, it's just a buffer, right? We're like, okay, now but you're probably not going to be as gross with a little beloved, grandchild or niece or nephew or whoever it is than you would be with an adult, right? They're going to be like, oh, okay, thanks for telling me, but I'm just like, I didn't have to be right there. Again, buffer, it's a boundary, the Band-Aid's off now, whatever. So that's another way to do it. Another way is you actually don't have to tell them face-to-face at all. If you're just like, no, just no, you could just do a public announcement on social media if that's something you choose to do. One of those cute little announcements with the little onesie coming soon. There's so many great little images you can get in software, and you could just do these things, find them on Pinterest, and you could just make an announcement, tag them in it, and say, hey, just wanted to let you know our happy news. Boom, that's it. Some people have had a sit-down conversation, and totally optional, where you actually do decide to go to the person and face-to-face. I mean, power to you if that's what you feel would be like, you've got that level of like, I can go into that situation, that's somewhat hostile situation, and not fall apart, right? And you can go and be like, hey, just sharing with you our happy news, right? Because you're just like, I'm strong in the Lord and this is it, no more, right? I'm just going to break the hold of this fear of man, and I'm just going to like say it, not necessarily like in an angry way to the person, but in an assertive way, and say, guess what? We're having a baby in such and such time. We're super excited about it. And you just call it out. I recognize you may not share our joy over that, but I would really appreciate if you keep that to yourself. Boom. Done, right? It's just really ripping off the Band-Aid. And honestly, it's the dread of what's going to happen that quite often is worse than the happening itself. So I just, when you're ready to do it, do it. And however you choose to do it, you can test it out, because as a big family mom, you may have more than a couple opportunities to test out different ways of telling those people in your life that are, you're not looking forward to telling them. So you don't just have to like dive in and subject yourself. You have options. And again, just to recap real quick, settle it with the Lord first, right? Just the fear of man. If you need to repent of that and just say, God, I'm sorry. I'm totally focusing on them instead of focusing on you. And your perfect love casts out all fear, right? You loved me first. You love this child. Just really declare that, maybe say it out loud and really own it. Take it into you. And then from there, your husband can decide how then you're going to roll out the happy news, rejoicing with those who rejoice first, like get those people on board first. And then for the couple of people, it's probably a short list. You're just going to tell individually, personally, one way or the other, get it over with, and then make your social media post and you're done. Enjoy your pregnancy. Rejoice. The Lord has visited with you as he did with Mary. He has blessed you, blessed your womb to hold a child for whatever length of time that looks like. And I pray that it will be a beautiful pregnancy for you, that it will be an easy and wonderful birth, and that when baby is born, there will be much rejoicing in the land as you look at that baby's face and say, you are a blessing. And I'm so glad you're here. And that's powerful. Baby number 5 was born, and he ended up coming into the world with a real rough landing, our first experience with the NICU. But let me tell you, I'm so glad he's here. And I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to grow in grace, to break through fear of man, and to grow in my owning the truth that children are a blessing, and actually even growing up and maturing in Christ and standing up to some people in my life that I was giving I really believe like an unholy, ungodly hold over my heart and my emotions. And I really matured in that. And this gave me an opportunity. Yeah, I was uncomfortable, but after taking some calming breaths and settling it with the Lord, I grew. And now, it's easy street for me to announce pregnancy number 10 or 11, probably because people now know, oh, okay, you're that crazy family, and they just don't even bother anymore. Why waste their breath? Exactly. There's no need. I wasn't asking for your opinion. I was just giving you that FYI. That's it. So I hope this has blessed you. If you're just connecting with me for the first time, you're like, hello, big family mom. How did you read my mind? I'm so scared to take people I'm pregnant again. And it's only baby number 3. Then feel free to jump into my big family moms group. Lots of community support, resources, education there for you to help you in the journey of being a big family mom. Yeah, I think that's pretty much, just want to make sure you knew about that. I've also, if you haven't noticed yet, got a free course going right now, completely free. It's always going to be free. It's not just for limited time. This is a gift from you called Big Family Heart. It's linked below. This is my own journey. If you want to get to know me a little bit better and you want to be able to embrace the children that God has blessed you with or will bless you with joy, and you're scared because you're just like, I don't know how to do this big family thing. I didn't either. I didn't even know how to change diapers when I became a mom. So I put together a mini course to bless you in that journey, or you can certainly recommend it to someone else to be like, this chick seems to know, that journey of going from fear to faith, especially when it comes with big family and all of the logistics. I called it the foundation of a big family home because it starts in the heart, like we talked about today. And then you can do the logistics so much more easily, like organizing, staying calm, and so on, which I'll talk to you more about later. But for now, I hope that's a blessing to you. It's there for you. I'm here for you. So I look forward to connecting with you in the group. Good morning, lovely Cindy. Oh, you've been through all of that. Let me read Cindy's comment. Oh, the stories you could tell, but rejoice, things change as they become adults. That's right. And think of all the grandchildren that are coming, right? Lord willing, I have 11 children. My children themselves have pointed out there's a good chance that I could have a bunch of grandkids. I didn't do it for that reason. I did it first and foremost to trust and honor the Lord, right? As my King of Kings, because he declares children to be a blessing. And I trust him with the road and all of what that means. But you're right. I look to the future like that Proverbs 31 woman, and I smile because good things are coming, because God is God and everything's going to be okay. I'll talk